The future is always unpredictable, especially when it comes to technology. This is something that we always have to adapt and prepare for. And right now, I have a very special guest who's going to explain the details of NFTs, Web3, artificial intelligence, and more. And he goes by the name of PRM, or other words, Patrick. Welcome to the Startech Podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Patrick, may you please tell your fans and your future fans who you are and what you're all about?
With pleasure. So my name is Patrick. I go as PRM. That's my artistic name, so to say. I have been in Dubai for the past 14 years, studied sports and nutrition, and have gone through a lot of different business ventures. Typical entrepreneur, I'd say. I started with restaurants, opened multiple restaurants. Everything was calorie counted, below 300 calories.
Fair enough.
That was my first venture. Then I continued in the interior finishing field. So everything in regards to interior design, artwork, paintwork, basically, again, managing a team. By the way, I am a physical artist as well. I do sculptures made out of clay. I also do digital art. That's where the connection to NFTs comes in. And from that, I transitioned, or I opened another restaurant business, which was proper fast food, yet at half the calories. So you get proper burgers, fries, all of the good stuff for only half the calories. Now, due to COVID, unfortunately, I had to close that down. But, it is what it is. It's always a great lesson. Now, when all of that happened, I wanted to orientate myself more into the digital field, into the financial field, because I always saw a lot of power in there and less of micromanaging. So I transitioned into trading, the S&P 500 futures. Did that for some time and then got more and more hooked onto crypto and specifically, of course, Bitcoin as a store of value, and then, of course, Ethereum, different blockchains, also altcoins and certain interesting projects, not necessarily the meme coins, but everything that would add value in a greater scheme. And then the NFTs came, right? I mean, the NFTs were there before. But here in Dubai, NFTs got more and more traction and people were paying more and more attention. And I was very fascinated by, the community aspect of NFTs and the power of, bringing people together. And that's how Dubai Peeps was started. Dubai Peeps is basically a community project that focuses on, of course, just like the name says, the people of Dubai, and connects them through holding the NFT.
I will say this, that, that long introduction that you have given, I feel like I'm actually reading Wikipedia in my mind.
Beautiful.
Yes. So it feels like in a movie, it feels like instead of like going all around the world in 40 days, it seems like you've been all over different companies and brands for 40 days. So this is quite interesting.
You know what's so interesting? Living here, it gives you so many different opportunities, and things here materialize quite quickly if you're surrounded by the right people. And of course, you have ideas and you're pushing forward. So that's, I think, one of the reasons why I've stayed here for so long, because it always gave me new opportunities to really express myself and do something different.
But when you were younger, did you already know where you're going to go? Because it seems like you delve again into so many different companies, different brands. Can you actually elaborate more on that? Because it seems like you like to experience different skills, different talents.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a manager. Don't even ask me managing what. Like, right? You're a kid. It's like, I want to be a pilot. I want to be whatever. So a manager for me was always kind of that person that would be in charge. And as I've gotten older, I understood the power of creation. And I'm a creator. That's what I do. I get ideas and I materialize these ideas. But again, whatever I do, it's very important that it is some form of disruption to the industry, or at least some kind of an improvement to what's currently out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch anything. Otherwise, I just wouldn't do it, right? I have learned not to go with your head against the wall or through the wall, even more so, because it's very tiring. And doing physical businesses especially in a world where so many things have been done already, right? I mean, if you look at Dubai and, for example, the restaurant industry, it's unbelievable. I think we're talking like 15,000 restaurants, right?
Of
Now,
course.
would I right now go again into that field? No, I wouldn't, because I don't think it would make any sense, right? Unless, of course, you have deep pockets and it goes, primarily into marketing, Instagrammable location, all of that stuff. Otherwise, I don't see any value. Do I see value in the Web3 space, in the NFT space, in general blockchain and crypto? Yes, absolutely, I do, right? But also, and we're going a bit deeper into that subject, I'm sure now in our discussion,
Mhm.
it needs to be done right. Because if it's not
Absolutely.
done right, it scares people quite easily.
Ah, okay. There was something that you mentioned earlier that you said that even though NFTs are popularized today, you said that there were NFTs back then. Can you just share an example of what you meant?
Well, you've had like the CryptoPunks, right? And then you had the Bored Apes, and you had certain NFT projects, mostly coming from the United States, that and that's where the true NFT spirit was born, that became famous. Now in Dubai, it was not here yet, and I saw a lack of community. Right? There were a couple of crypto meetups where you would literally have these, crypto Bitcoin maximalists sitting and talking to their followers. Now, the problem I saw was I saw a big ego drive. Okay, I saw them saying, "Yeah, I got in very early, and it's great," but that didn't add any value to people.
Mhm.
That didn't add any value to the followers, right? They were just sitting there and and listening. Now, I thought that there should be a different way. If people come together, there's so much power, there's so many ideas. Now, if people can share these with one another openly, well, there you go. New business opportunities come out of that, right? Or, maybe just friendships, it doesn't matter. But that form of community, I think, is extremely valuable. And that was the intention of Dubai Peeps from the get-go.
Well, Dubai has also been, it's actually one of the leading cities or the leading hubs of technology, especially now. Like for instance, in March, I think we had a cryptocurrency expo that happened. And right now, I want us to shift our focus more into NFTs. Like, how popular is it in Dubai, NFTs?
It's a very good question. I think it really depends on macroeconomics, and it depends on how the crypto market in general is doing, right? Now, I give you an example again in regards to Dubai Peeps. When crypto was at 4 trillion, right? I mean, we're in a bull market. People were interested. People were just buying into, NFTs like crazy, just like they were into cryptocurrencies in general. Now, once we went below a trillion, right, that hype died. And, we always need to understand what's the psychology behind a person investing into an NFT or crypto. Primarily, they want to make money.
Always.
Always. There you go. If it comes with some nice perks and, additions, they're very happy, right? I get it. But this dynamic in general is not sustainable because whatever goes up comes down, right? And there's only so much utility that you can provide. Again, unless you have a lot of resources that you can pump into that specific project in order to sustain it,
Hmm.
right? So that's why NFTs were hyped. NFTs were doing great. But right now, if you look at transactional volume on marketplaces such as OpenSea or or a few others, it has definitely decreased significantly, right? Absolutely, especially the profile pictures and those kind of projects. Now,
Hmm.
if you look at proper artists, yeah, for example, Rita Sethi, she's a great NFT artist. She was the first NFT artist based in Dubai, based, from Dubai. She has a community. She produces one-off art pieces, right? There's that proper art value behind a project, not necessarily the community. It's like, right, I'm a painter, I'm a physical painter, I produce physical art, and
Hmm.
I sell it. Now, she's a digital artist. She does pretty much the same, yet digitally. And she also connects it to real life, to a physical art piece. So she has the best of both worlds. But that is what she does. And for such artists, there's always space, and there's always space to grow. They will never really depend on that NFT hype.
Well, in my opinion, NFTs were supposed to be sort of the copyright of JPEG or photos or images, because when NFTs were first introduced, what I've realized from a lot of people, especially on YouTube, they all said the same thing. Why would people invest in NFTs when you can just simply download the image from Google or other social media platforms? May you please clarify on that?
Yeah. Now, it's about scarcity. It is about having control of the output, right? Now, let's say, all right, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have that image and somebody screenshots it. Well, what's the resolution? What's the file size, right? Obviously, it's going to be small. It's going to be pixelated, right? So if you purchase an NFT, well, first of all, it gets established on the blockchain. On the blockchain, let's say you mint the NFT.
It's like a passport stamped. It's legitimate.
It's legitimate, but
It's
also
legal.
because it has its unique ID now, right? It's unique identification that basically gets documented on the blockchain that everybody can see now. All right, it's been established. It has been minted on this day at that time, right, by this specific wallet. Now, that is proof, proper proof of ownership, okay? And let's say you are a company or even a content creator, and you can implement this kind of scarcity onto your content, then it adds value, right? Because now you can say, all right, this image I'm selling to you 10 times, okay? And that's it. Nobody else will be able to get this image again. Now, that is also something I want to go a bit deeper into with you, because then you can say, yeah, but still people see the image, still people can screenshot it. And where's the secret kind of, angle on that? Because people can still see it, right? Especially if you're a content creator.
Well, there was a quote from one of our previous guests.
Okay.
His name is Tim Botnager, and he made a special quote about NFTs. I just want to see if you agree with it. Okay, NFTs is copyright on steroids.
Oh, I think I've heard this quote. Yeah. I have seen a lot in my time, obviously, as the founder of Dubai Peeps and being so involved in that space. NFTs are not for everyone. Okay. This is a very important thing to say. It's just like saying, oh yeah, blockchain's gonna be mainstream. Everybody's gonna deal with blockchain and crypto and NFTs. I don't think so, right? Because first of all, let's go towards CBDCs, okay? Basically tokens, okay, crypto tokens that could be used as a payment, right? Established by the central banks, okay? Now, it wouldn't be in their interest to establish this on Solana, on Ethereum, on Cardano, or any blockchain. No, they would create an internal system, right, that they have control over, and that would allow them to then obviously, control people. Sorry, I mean that's ultimately the word that needs to be used. So that is their kind of angle. Now, when it comes to NFTs, if your business model does not suit the content ownership, the NFT kind of path, then you shouldn't even care about it. You shouldn't even worry about it, right? So I get the quote. I understand, and I understand NFTs are a bit frowned upon, and I do partially agree, because in some cases they just don't make sense, right? So it really depends on how innovative are you with your concept, with your business, with your app, whatever you're establishing, right? And how do you use them? That's what it comes down to.
One thing I have to say about this so far is that you're very honest, and
Super.
yeah, so I actually definitely respect that.
No, absolutely. Like, look, every time you always need to reflect yourself, right? And when you create something, when you're a business owner or whatever you do in life, you always need to turn towards yourself and ask yourself, well, am I in it too deep, right? How do other people think about this? How do they even understand my vision? So you need to be able to communicate it properly. And if you can, and it still makes sense, and people go, oh, wow, this is great, then you are onto something. But if not, then maybe your ego is too big.
Hmm. So let's actually focus more into the UAE market. How does the market in Dubai compare to the other markets here in the UAE? Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Al Kuwait. What's your opinion?
I mean, Dubai is Dubai for a reason, right? And Dubai embraces new technology. Dubai embraces, obviously, specifically crypto, blockchain, even when metaverses were, pretty much hype. Dubai was part of that. And I respect that because Dubai listens to the people and Dubai does not want to miss out. Dubai always looks for that next, opportunity of being on top of innovation. So there's no question about it. Dubai is number one in the region when it comes to that. And I don't think that will change.
Oh, okay. Mall of the Emirates has a store dedicated to NFTs. Are we starting to see the digital world become part of the physical world?
I hope so. I believe at this point, if you connect a digital asset with a physical asset, people can relate to it much, much better, right? It's like, all right, I will give you this beautiful NFT. It's a large size file that you can also put up on your digital wall if you have one, right? But it is connected to a physical art piece. Oh, that's great. You can touch it. You can, feel the paint or, see the frame. And you develop a different connection to the art.
Mm,
So stores like FTNFT, that's the one you're referring to,
right.
is doing that. And it's great. It's a strong step into the future.
Would you, if you were actually in a museum, would you pay the same amount of money? Let's say, for instance, a Mona Lisa portrait. Would you pay the same amount of money to purchase that portrait physically compared to someone who created the same art digitally, maybe on Photoshop, maybe on Adobe Illustrator? Uh, would you do that, or do you think both of them have the same quality?
Since I'm so honest, I would say no, I wouldn't. But also because I'm a physical artist, I understand what it means to get my hands dirty and to work with clay and do sculptures. I actually made a sculpture for His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, and he actually received it. They requested it, and it was just, I just wanted to see what happens, right? Always, liked him, liked his involvement in the community, and I sculpted it, and they reached out, and he received it. So that was.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was some time ago, but it was a nice moment. Also, as being a resident in Dubai and experiencing Dubai and its growth, for 14 years now. But going back to that point, so being an artist makes me understand the value of touching, of activating your different senses. Again, I would pay the same if it would be connected, the digital connected to the physical piece, right? Then yes, because then I see the additional value. If it is just a digital art piece, probably not if it was static. If it would be some absolutely crazy, really unique art piece, possibly. But then again, it comes down to proof of work. It comes down to, it's like anything you do in life. If you put a lot of hours into it, right, and you just keep chipping off and you refine your product, whatever it is that you do, value gets added through the time and the passion and the energy that you put into it.
Would you agree with this comparison that there are still artists and musicians till this day, when they download music, or let's say they purchase an album or an MP3, they still want the vinyl. Like the vinyl is still that classic. They still prefer that old classic record, the touch, and they'll still pay more money for a vinyl and still pay for a vinyl machine than just someone just downloading it from YouTube or just purchasing it from iTunes very quickly. Is it something similar to that?
It's a bit of nostalgia, absolutely. But now think of And it really, honestly, I think it also depends how did you grow up, right? It's also a generational thing. Because now if I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to sit by the fireplace, I have a nice glass of juice, and I listen to a record, and I hear the cracking sound, and I hear the depth, and I hear these additional layers, these levels that trigger emotions within me, combined to the rain outside the fireplace. And you create a mood, you create a feeling that an MP3 will, in that situation, not give you. But then again, did you grow up like that? Do you have an emotional connection to it? Or you don't? If you've never experienced it, maybe you'll never embrace it, right? So we also need to be realistic and say, all right, well, this is part of our evolutionary process. And this is where we're going towards now. And certain things die out. That's just part of evolution, right? But again, also very important to say, I don't think art as it is will die out, because I still believe that people have these, you know, people like to be sensory, right? People like to experience art in you know, through their emotions and through different senses. I give you a quick another example: metaverses, right? What's happening? Not much, right? I know it's a bit unfortunate, because also we did a digital fashion show in a metaverse, and it was an incredible project with one of our partners called Landrocker. They're an incredible team of 150 people, gaming developers. So we did an entire metaverse for the fashion industry, okay, or more like a fashion space, where you could take your fashion brand and showcase it digitally, and people could access it through their web browser, right? So let's say you're a fashion designer and you don't have the money to, you know, create a real physical event. You would have the ability now to create a digital event, you know, through us, and you can showcase it all over the world, right?
There's something about metaverse. You said that it's not as popular as the people thought it would be, especially currently. I think it's all about timing too. When COVID happened and all of us were staying indoors and there was a lockdown, I think if the metaverse company launched it at the exact same time, I think people will be more connected with it.
I agree with you. What I wanted to go towards is the emotions are missing, right? You're now in this space, and yes, you can talk to people and you have your little avatar running around, but that's about it, right? It's kind of like, going back to the quote, it's kind of like a Zoom call on steroids, right? So that's cool, right? But we're not there yet. We need to feel emotions. And if that is possible, and at some point I'm sure it will be possible, then yes, that is going to, you know, I think dictate the future. But there's still a lot of time that I think, you know, it will take to get there.
You know, the future is always a risk in itself. Like 3D movies. Everyone thought 3D movies would be permanent, and it's always making a comeback like every 10 to 20 years. Same thing with Disney remakes. Like everyone thought these Disney remakes would be a lot better than the 2D animations, and it turns out the 2D animations, no offense to Disney, Disney is still a classic, but the 2D animations are still very well connected with young children even till this day, even though the remakes are made at this current moment. The classic still wins.
I agree with you. Isn't that interesting though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we'll figure out what this formula is all about.
I think the formula is energy. I think it's love, it's passion. And just like music nowadays, right? You can immediately tell if something's just being like mass produced, right? Or if something has been made through a lot of emotions, and it's being delivered through a lot of emotions as well. So, you know, it's a very subtle level, but we all tune into it, and you cannot deny it.
I hope you included Tina Turner.
Oh,
Yeah, rest in peace.
Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston,
Oh
yes.
my God, absolutely.
How closely monitored is buying and selling of NFTs in the UAE?
That's a very good question. I don't think there is anybody, I mean, unless nobody I know of monitoring the buying and selling. I think it really depends on each individual platform, and their numbers that they're um, showcasing, releasing. People don't buy NFTs just of one platform, right? So it's just kind of like obviously globally widespread, and but yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay. I've heard of minting an NFT, but what does that mean?
Um, Pretty much you can say purchasing, layman terms. Okay, you purchase the NFT. Now, minting is technically the moment it goes onto the blockchain, right? And you can mint it yourself. You could do that, right? You can say, okay, I want to create my own NFT collection, and you get, smart contract developer, web developer, and create your designs, and you could mint them yourself, but then obviously you would cover the cost, the gas fees, so to speak, right? Of the blockchain that you're on. Or you let your customers, right, cover that fee, and that's more common. And that is basically called the minting process. They're minting the NFT, so they're purchasing it.
So, can you create NFTs? And if so, what software do you need?
All right. I like that question. I like it for a specific reason. I'm actually currently doing an app, and going back to the to Dubai peeps, and being affected by macroeconomics and crypto in general, in regards to to the NFT hype, right, dying down. I thought to myself at that point, all right, there needs to be a better way. There needs to be a way to add value to people, and solve a problem and simplify things, right? Now, what I came to understand was that most probably you're not going to be able to educate every individual to download a MetaMask wallet or a Trust wallet or whichever wallet, and and then get tokens off an exchange, and then go to marketplace and purchase an NFT. All of that, to a lot of people, to the majority, is like Chinese, right? It's just takes time, takes research. People don't have the patience for that, and I get it. So I thought, all right, there needs to be an easier way, and that's how the idea of DAPunk, okay, that's the name of the app, was born. So DAPunk stands for Decentralized Application with Punk Culture. And the punk culture, right? I'm an 80s kid, but I really experienced the 90s properly. It was the internet age. It was there were punk movements, and a punk stands for something, right? A punk does not just accept anything that is thrown at him or her, and I like that. You take charge, you take ownership, okay? And that is mostly related towards digital ownership, of course, in regards to that punk, where every content that you create, you're in charge of. You're in charge of your accounts. And think of traditional social media right now. You don't own your accounts. You're producing all of this content, right? Many people are nonstop. And it's so much time invested. Time is the most valuable asset that you have, right?
Absolutely.
And people are not monetizing it, right? People maybe get a deal out of it, maybe get a booking, a job, whatever out of it. But so much more can be done with that. And DAPunk allows you to monetize your content, right? Privately or publicly, and in a very easy to understand way. It is very Web 2, it is very traditional, yet everything on the back end is completely Web 3 and NFTs, right? But nobody ever sees that. And that for me was the most important thing in regards to encouraging mass adoption. And there, going back to what you've asked me before, there's a use case for NFTs. Because now a content creator can say, all right, and content creators have the ability to, for example, share a pixelated preview, certain things that do not reveal things completely, and then people can purchase it off of them, and then it gets unpixelated, right? So you have the ability to be in control of your community, of your followers, to add scarcity to everything that you release to them, to add a bit of that collector's mentality that people love. We love to collect, right? We used to collect marbles, stickers, basketball cards, right? It is in us. We like to own and feel like this is ours, and only a few other people have it. So Dapunk allows you to do that as a creator. But then also you can be, for example, a person with a physical store, and you can say, all right, I am releasing now 100 tickets, coupons, whatever, that people can then redeem, come to my store, redeem them, and get something for it, right? Depending on what it is.
So let's pretend that we're involved in a website called How To. So just simplify, what are the steps? Because all of us, we want to get involved with this NFT market one day. So step by step, how can we create an NFT or just start collecting it?
Okay, how to Dapunk or how to anywhere?
I'm going to let you, it's an open question.
Okay, so I'm going to go how to Dapunk because obviously that was a very important thing for me to consider, and then I'll go how to anywhere. So we get both. How to Dapunk, download the app. The app's not live yet, by the way. We've onboarded already 250 plus influencers, real life influencers with 100K and above followers on the traditional social media to basically use Dapunk because they're also so fascinated by the control they have and of course by the monetization part. So download the app, username, create a password, mention your email, verify your email, boom, you're in. You create immediately a channel and you start creating an NFT by creators button, click, select an image or take a quick image with your camera and then upload it. And the moment somebody wants the image, that person mints it, which also means you don't have to cover the gas fees, right? Because again, the question is, yes, how to create an NFT? Well, if you really want to create an NFT, you're technically minting an NFT, which means you have to bear the cost. But then let's say you bear the cost, right? Why would you do that? So you can say, hey guys, I minted my own NFT. Sorry, that's a bit awkward because it's like, okay, so what, right? But if you create a collection, you create images, and then you say, guys, I have this crazy collection, right? And then people mint it off of you. Technically, they create the NFT and you regain the benefits, right? And that's the NFT creation that should be relevant to any creator. Yeah, you don't bear any cost. You just have to focus on the marketing aspect. You have to focus on how can I sell the NFT? Or technically it's not an NFT yet, right? How can I sell the potential NFT? Yeah, that is what is really the key point. Because I would never recommend anyone to go, hey, mint your own NFT, right? And sorry, let me continue on, and this is super important. How do you start your own collection? That is a question I've heard a lot of times. Now, again, Dapunk makes it super easy. Why? Because if you create a collection and let's say you want to have a mint off of your web page, you need 5 things. You need a web developer, okay, to create your web page. You need a smart contract developer to obviously write the smart contract that will then hold your NFT collection, okay? Then you ideally, or not ideally, but probably need Discord. Why Discord? Because Discord is being used as the NFT platform in order to hype, in order to create a community around your project. But that is very shaky because you don't have as much control as you should have, right? Then of course you also need to interact with people, which in Dapunk you can do because it's a messenger as well, end-to-end encrypted. But then you could do it through Discord, or you do it through other channels like Telegram or WhatsApp. And you need a marketplace also, right? I mean, okay, 2 ways. Sorry, you can use a marketplace as well to launch your NFT collections, like for example OpenSea, the most known one, where you just upload everything, but you'd have to upload everything individually. Okay. Or yes, you go the smart contract and the web page route, which is a bit more technical. Again, why am I mentioning all of that? Because it's so complex, right? It's like, I want to start a business. Well, you might have the idea, but what steps do you have to take in order to execute your idea? That's where it gets really interesting. And that's also where a lot of people then stop, at least, if they're smart, unless they find a way, right? Or they have, the financial means. But otherwise, it is tough. It is difficult. That's another reason why I came up with the idea of, of creating an application that allows you to have all of this in one app, in one channel, where you don't need to worry about all the other overhead expenses in order to do that. You basically just need to focus on getting your community in, and that's it.
So I just want to ask, Patrick, are there any other wise gems you want to share to the people out there that want to be, once again, NFT creators or NFT collectors?
Quite a lot, actually. Don't FOMO, don't rush into something or just anything, right? Don't just listen to your friends, okay, no matter what. Do your own due diligence on everything you do, on every investment you make. So many people, everybody wants to be rich, right? Pretty much everyone. Now, a lot of people invest more than they are actually able to invest, right? And they get burned. Yeah, at some point I was one of them as well. And I realized, like, hold on, like, don't do that, right?
Were we told to give more than to receive?
In which sense?
It was just a verse.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, you actually were giving more than you would receive, but in a bad way. Absolutely, absolutely. So, don't make that mistake, right? Do your own, do your due diligence. Make sure there is a long-term value as well to whatever you're investing in. That is super important. Looking at meme coins, unless, yes, you're aware of the fact that you're gambling. Gamble. If you feel like gambling, gamble, but don't expect anything to come out of it, right? If you're lucky, maybe you're lucky, right? Or if you get early access into something, right? Great.
So what's like the highest, like if people are asking you for advice, what's like the highest percentage that you would tell them, okay, this is like the safest limit that you can invest in order to, if you don't make any returns, this is how far I'll go. 20%, 10%. Nothing more than 50 or 40, obviously, yes.
I think 10% is
10%.
healthy, right? You want to be a bit, go up to 20, right? But I think 10% is a reasonable number. It's not going to hurt too much, right? You don't want to be sitting with your family and checking the stock market or CoinGecko every 5 minutes because, you're so distracted by the decision you've made, right? So don't let it affect the dynamic of your life.
But there's a lot of key people that are entrepreneurs. They all use this one word, and I want to see what's your opinion of this. The word is luck. Everyone needs a little bit of luck to be successful in anything.
You got to be in the right place at the right time.
There's,
But I also tell you, nothing beats preparation, right? If you're not prepared and you just depend on luck, then I don't believe in that, right? Whoever is a serious entrepreneur has been burned many times, right?
experience.
Ideally in the early days. And that has made you stronger and that has encouraged you to prepare yourself better, right? But then also you want to make sure that you do something that you really, really believe in, that you're extremely passionate about, because your passion will drive you. Your belief into what you do will keep you sane. If you don't have that, if your end goal is always money, you will keep chasing. I don't believe that you will get there. It's kind of like hurdle, right? Like a sign. No, get your mind straight, get your mind right. Why are you doing this? What's the reason behind it, right?
So what you're saying is enjoy the journey itself, not just the destination.
Everybody says that and it sounds so cheesy, right? But of course you need to have a goal. You have to, right? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting my valuable time into what I'm doing? Of course, it's extremely important. But then, right, if you believe in that, you will enjoy the process because you're so passionate about it and it will drive you.
And you should not get nervous if your goal is similar to your competitors. Like, let's say that you're owner of Burger King or if you're owner of Wendy's, your same goal is like McDonald's and some of these other burger fast food restaurants. You say the same thing, like you're allowed to use the same tagline or the same pitch with your competitors, but you have to like put your own spin into it.
Every great entrepreneur will tell you, don't look at your competition, right? And I've heard it so many times. I think we always peek over because it's just out there and it's in your face, right? But it also keeps you on your toes. So it depends how you take it. Do you take it as an encouragement, or are you discouraged now, right? Encouraged as in, oh, damn, all right, maybe I can improve something. Maybe I can add something. Maybe I can have an edge on something, right? So if you take it that way, then it can be very productive. But regardless, no matter what, you've got to move. You have to be fast because the world is moving so quickly.
Absolutely.
And if you miss the bus, or you just, oh, no, that's fine. But then again, you wouldn't be passionate if that's your kind of attitude, right? If you're passionate, you'll be like, all right, I wake up in the morning. What can I do today? How can I change
I want
things?
that first class flight, not the economy.
That's the end result. That's the end result. I wouldn't focus on that, because then you're focused again on the money aspect, right?
Okay.
Oh, I just want to be first class, So focus on your project. Don't get too cocky, right? And don't get carried away. Keep chipping at the task that you have at hand, because that is the only thing right now you have an impact on. You see? And nothing else, everything else is out of your control in the moment. So then leave it,
And Patrick, I just want to say you've been an excellent guest. A lot of great information. I'm also glad you have a sense of humor as well. And we definitely hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I had a great time.
Cheers. Thank you all for observing another episode of the Startech Podcast. Once again, my name is Mr. Aurelius, your host. And I hope all of you have learned something new about NFTs. We are on every single Friday afternoon. Please subscribe to our channel, Khaleej Times, on YouTube. And you can also follow us on Instagram, Khaleej Times. Once again, my name is Mr. Aurelius, and we're out.